MIDI here. I just wanted to show you how I made the little advent calendar, I think you call it. This is using the lift flap grid, this one, from the new February release. So I cut that out from white cardstock. Then I cut that out with the little scallop rectangle from all Prettied Up. So I got this. This is the basis for my little flaps. I don't want to open them because then my calendar would be slightly open. But so I can reuse it next year, I added these little flaps. So these can be tucked in into the box next year. These are actually also made from the lift flap grid. I simply took this part and then I cut it off here. So I still have the little embossed line that's in the cardstock on this one, and I simply angled these little ones. So to these I added little squares with the little agenda animals, and from little agenda signage I added the little numbers up in the right hand corner. I glued these here to the middle. The little square is from what's it called? The slim window dressing. It's actually the insides of these windows. These little squares fit perfectly on here, creating a little border. So simply glue these. And adding them to the middle. There we go. Now you can decide whether you want them to go numerically across or just mix them up. I've chosen to go numerically, so I simply add the little red flaps here onto each flap here. So I've used a little sloth agenda to make little yetis. I've used a little dog agenda. I think the little Santa hat is from me and my yeti, or little reindeer agenda. Can't always remember. And it's simply a matter of lining them up, matching the little lines. So there's the little penguin agenda and the little reindeer agenda. You can see I'm a fan of little agendas. I've tried to use all the Christmassy little ones. And since I thought the little signs from little Signage agenda, I've used them to make big presents. So this is actually from little Signage agenda. Here we go. Little bear agenda. Little Signage agenda again. I've simply used a little black marker to draw in the gift strings. Another penguin. And a little bunny. Little Signage again. And the little monkey. So I have all my flaps ready now. To add them to my box, I want it to be the complete A2 size. I've just cut out the little grid cover, grid window it's called. These actually are the same size as the lift flap grid, so they fit perfectly together. If you only have the lift flap grid, you can simply cut off the flaps. So I've just added tape in between all of them. It's easier to add this way around instead of adding that one to the box. It's just some double-sided tape here. To make it easy to line up, I simply flip it around and line it up. Make sure you only use 1/8 of an inch tape around the edge, otherwise it will show. So there, could add this to a card as well and have little cute flaps. There we go. For the box, I've made a cutting file for my silhouette. I'll also add PF to the blog post. So simply follow the score lines. My silhouette cuts the stitched line for me to follow. So both sides. You'll notice I already added my tape because it's usually tricky for me. There we go. And the end flaps. You'll notice that one of the sides, if you have a silhouette, it'll cut little notches in your paper. That's the side that's going to open if you want it to be able to open, so you can use it year after year. And the other side doesn't have those notches, which is why we'll close it with the tape. There we go. Use your here. I don't remember what this is called in English. Bone folder, I think. There we go. Just to freeze all the edges so they're nice and crisp. If you make your own boxes, you want to be careful with how deep these flaps are, because otherwise you'll be able to see them inside the little lifts. There's a box. Since the middle here is slightly larger than an A2 card, you'll actually be able to use this box and any cover die you want to make a little box for cards or whatever. Just notice that it's not large enough for envelopes. So when I add my top part here, I want to add it not entirely to the edge, but almost, so like 1 millimeter. Not sure you'll be able to see, but I'm matching up the corners right here. And then just giving a little bit of space. So see, that corner matches up to there, and that corner matches up to there. So not the actual box corner. Not sure if you can tell. Oops, lifted it too early. Didn't press it down. But it matches the angles here. Not the actual box corner. Can you tell? For the other side, you simply close the other flap, so it's like that. Take off your double-sided adhesive. Yeah, it's on correctly. You want to keep an eye out for where your opening is going to be. If you have a special side it needs to go to. Since I already made the other side, I want my opening to be down here. So I want my little notches, slits to be here. So it closes like that. And the other side here, you can fold in. And if you're only going to make 12 little compartments, you just close it up here. Be careful about your tape here. In that case, you don't want it to go all the way to the edge. But since we're going to add the other box, oh, I did this wrong anyway. I'll just have to peel this off. One moment. Alright, so I fixed that now. So you now see my opening is to this side. And under my other one, which I assembled just the same way, my opening is to this side. As you can see here, I have these little flaps to help it keep it closed, because this one, because it's so small here, it won't actually stay closed. There's not enough to hold it in. So we're going to add those using these little ones, where you simply fold it in half. And to one of the sides, a bit in, you're going to add a piece of double-sided adhesive. Remove the tape, do the same to the other one. There we go. And you're going to insert these into your notches, or your slits here. There, that's the first one. And these are going tape side up, because we don't want to stick them to these, we actually want to stick them to the grid. Like that. Then we'll simply close the box, line it up, press these down. You might want to add something inside to help push it up. Just make sure your corners are on straight. There we go. So now you can pull these out. And you're able to open and close your box as you like. Just make sure they're nice and on there. So this I've already added the hinge to. This is a little separate piece, which is why I've added tape all the way to the edge here. Going to remove that tape. And then this, I'm going to line it up all the way to the edge here. Like this, which is why you don't want to close the end just yet if you're going to make two boxes. Now you want to trim off the corners here. You can see it's not the same angle. There we go. And there we go. This way it will fit nicely in with the corners inside the box. So all I have to do now is close it up. And again, you might want to add something inside the box to do that. So I'm just using the edge of my bone folder here. You could also add in a pile of cardstock or whatever you like. And the same for the other side. If you want, you could also add tape to these little flaps. I don't find it that necessary. Make sure they line up nicely. And there we go. You should then be able to close up and line up. So you kind of have a little box book. Now, to be able to create little compartments inside the box, I have all these tiny boxes. You can do them in different colors. They are different sizes, so there's a box A, box B, C and D, but they all come together the same way. This is an A box. Make sure you keep track of which side is what, because A boxes, even though they might look like they're square, they're not actually completely square, I think. No, not completely, less like millimeters difference, but there is a difference. I've added little top flaps if you want to glue them to the inside of the box for one-time use. That way your little things won't fall out. I just use a little tweezer to help fold them down. So you basically fold in all your flaps. If you don't want these little top flaps, you can simply cut them off. There we go. Fold up the skull lines, which in this case is all the stitch lines. And fold them down with the bone folder. Since we don't want to this kind of act like the inside of the box, we want it to be pretty when you look inside. So we want the flaps to be glued to the outside, like this. So you'll simply fold up the box and glue these flaps to the sides. I'm not sure if I actually can get out of it. There we go. And this side as well. Push it down. There we go. I like to use my bone focus to keep it really nice and tight. Just make sure the corners here line up. And again, glue these to the outside. For each side of the box, you will need 4 A pieces, 4 B pieces. So these are the A's and the B's. 2 C pieces, which go like this. And 2 D pieces, which are the little squares. And you'll want to glue these together. And line them up nicely. I'll usually just go like this. Let them dry. And you can cut them in little bite-sized pieces. There we go. Just make sure the top and bottom, they're nicely lined up here and there. I usually finish a row and then glue the 3 different rows together. Just make sure your letters are going the right way, so A, B, and they're not going upside down or wonky, anything like that. The reason for the different size of boxes is because the compartments around the edge, you have to take the edge into account. So the smallest compartments are actually towards the middle because they don't have any of the edge going with them. So you might, during your numbering, you might want to keep that in mind if you have slightly larger gifts. Just make sure that they can actually fit through the little flap, otherwise you'll have to tear open the little advent calendar, which would be sad. Might want to give it a bit more time to dry, but I'll just show you how I do it. There. And then you know what to glue these rows together. There. In the TV kitchen style, I've already made one and let it dry completely. As you can see, my 4A pieces, my 4B pieces, 2C and 2D. Now these are glued together, so they will be able to slip in here. Because these are the same size in each corner, you won't have any problem with which way to turn it. And it'll slip this way in here, hopefully. There we go. And you'll see, you have little compartments in here. Now, if you don't want to be able to reuse this, you won't want to use these. You'll simply just close this up and glue this in. But you might also, if you don't want to reuse it, you might want to glue these in as well, so it'll keep them closed and tight. Now, if you do want to reuse it, you simply close this up, add in the little lock mechanism. There we go. And then next year, you'll be able to fold this down and inside the box. It's a little fiddly, but you'll be able to. There, and that'll help keep it closed. Unless you push it too much, and then it'll pop right in. But yeah, that's basically it. Hope I'll be able to get this out of it. There we go. Just be careful with it. There. So that's what it'll look like next year when I've opened all of them. Because yes, I am going to use this next Christmas. For now, it'll be like this. I hope you'll have fun creating your own. And of course you can decorate the outside as you like. I plan to add a ribbon around here and tie it with a nice little bow here. Yep. Bye.